One of the most visually beautiful films I've seen this year has been nominated for an Academy Award as Best Foreign Film. It's from China. It's named Raise the Red Lantern, and it was directed by China's best-known filmmaker, Zhang Yimou, who also directed last year's Oscar nominee, Judo. Once again, his subject is the relationship between a young woman and a rich older man who has essentially purchased her with his economic power. The movie takes place inside the house of the rich old man, who has 4 wives, and the title comes from the fact that every evening a servant raises a red lantern in front of the quarters of the wife that the man plans to spend the night with. The movie stars Gong Li as the beautiful young 4th wife who discovers that life in this house is a hotbed of sexual politics.
怎么样？点灯捶脚，到这会儿你觉出点意思来了吧？再过些天呢，你就更离不了喽。谁呀？什么事儿？
三姐又叫你了，你该过去了。
The camera suggests the elegance of the physical comforts in the house at the same time that the dialogue suggests that it is a forlorn prison.
飞普，飞普，你给我下来！
我母亲叫我有事儿，那我先走了。
This is the 3rd movie by Zhang Yimou that I've seen. Red Sorghum was about a young woman purchased by a rich old vineyard owner. Judo was about the young bride of a rich man who dyed textiles. And now we get this film in which the rich husband is off screen almost altogether, and the director focuses on what is probably his real obsessive subject, the feelings of women who are the victims of men, tradition, and money. This is a subtle, elegant, and moving film about an educated woman who has her whole life ahead of her, but decides to sell herself to the old man, and then her life is limited by the 4 walls of his house. It's a film that can be read as an angry parable and not just about China.
Well, I like the picture, too. The only thing I quarrel with you on is the use of the word subtle. I think it's really very clear what this film is about, and I think that it's more than just the dialogue that shows that this is a prison. I think the overhead shots that we get of the whole compound that this Titan operates is one of like a prison very much. And I think that
that's not the part that I thought was subtle.
Okay.
I thought the part that was subtle had to do with the fact that the 4 women, first of all, they all hate the man, and yet they all pretend they like him in order to get one up on each other, and then their servants are also part of the game, and the doctor who comes in is giving some of them medical excuses and so forth, and the jockeying that goes on, I think, is very quiet and interesting.
Well, I think that this is typically what happens when you enslave people, is that they become their own worst enemies, and they accept the order, and then they bicker among themselves to be a better slave than a worse slave, and it's a terrible trap that these people are in. I think the film shows it quite clearly, and I'm sure it's an explosive film in China.